Good afternoon, everyone. Well, we keep hearing about advanced threats, APTs, 0 days. But the fact is that with all the investments that you're doing in your networks, on your endpoint, still you're being hacked. And it's only getting worse and worse. And the gap is getting wider and wider. It's quite obvious that if we will keep on using the same products, same methodologies that we're using today, this will never change. So actually, Morphisec introduces a new concept, a new method that we believe is going to change dramatically how cybersecurity works. This comes with what we call moving target defense. So what is the main reason attackers has this advantage? I think the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, defined that in a very interesting way. The static nature of computer networks and systems make them easy to attack and therefore hard to defend. What it means? It means that the operating system that you're using, the applications that you're using, never change. They're always working the same. So the attacker have all the time and capability to learn the vulnerabilities, building an attack, knowing that when he will attack, everything will be the same. So as long as we cannot change this situation, they will always have this advantage. The second point is that, of course, endpoints still is the main gate to advanced threats. It's obvious, everyone knows that. And what we see is that alongside the multiple attacks that we see, most of them are simple, known, old, but 40% of them are those that we call advanced threats. And those advanced threats rely on memory resources, memory vulnerabilities, in order to evade the security system that you're already using, and not only to evade, but also to perform the attack that they are designing. And what we see is also that 75% of the successful breaches are those that started from those memory-based attacks. So this is actually the problem that you need to focus on, you need to solve. Again, memory-based attack. So let's look at the endpoint security dynamic, how it evolves, and what it is challenges. So, and look at the axis that we look at is, for one hand, protection level, but on the other hand is the simplicity of operation, or you can call it the TCO, because it's very easy to bring a very tight security solution, but to operate it is a different issue. So we started with antiviruses that made a perfect job many years ago by really preventing attacks by signatures. But then attackers become more sophisticated, brought polymorphism, and that started failing. And in order to keep pace with that dynamics, antiviruses had to push more and more updates all the time, and that makes them not only not relevant, but also very, very difficult to maintain. So we all have to keep using them because of compliance, but we suffer from the operations. Later on, everyone said, OK, let's forget about prevention. We cannot prevent anymore. Yes, antiviruses failed. There's no way to really prevent those attacks, so let's focus on detection. Let's try to understand what they do. So that's where we had those detection systems coming in a few years ago, using all kinds of technologies, behavioral, anomalies, AI, machine learning lately. But it's all about learning what the attacker did, all right? What they did, and try to understand if the attack that now they're seeing is based on known technologies of attack. So this is prone to fail whenever we have new attacks or variation of attacks. Not only that, it became also, we had to come and use them to trying to understand what is inside our system, but it brought a very high level of complexity to your system. It's very hard to install, maintain, analyze, because you are flooded with alerts, and you need very sophisticated personnel to analyze and decide what to do. But in any case, it's mostly post-breach. So again, it didn't really protect you at the end of the day. And what we see now is the new generation AV coming out, or the EPP like Gartner talks about. It's actually a combination of those capabilities. So yes, you might have one product, but it will be the same level of protection, and the same level of complexity as it was. Morphisec comes brings back prevention, real prevention to the market. We do that by moving target defense, and we promise our customer to prevent the most sophisticated attacks and do that in a very, very simple way that they can afford. So what is moving target defense? Well, it's all about removing the advantage from the attacker back to the defender. So we do that by taking the targets and make them from being predictable to unpredictable. How? By making them a moving target. We do that by taking the memory structures, we randomize them, so when the attack meets the target, expecting to find certain structures and resources that they were designed in advance to use and utilize, suddenly they find something totally new, unknown, and automatically fail. By that, we gain proactive prevention, and all that without gaining any knowledge, having any knowledge about the attack. So this is a fundamental change. Why? Because instead of chasing after hackers, trying to understand what they do and react to them, now attackers need to understand what we do in order to break the system. This is a fundamental change in how security works. How we do that? In a very high-level way. Each time a user opens a file, each time he opens a web page or browser, what happens, regardless of Morphisec, is that the loader of the operating system loads that application into memory and builds the memory structure for that. And at that time, at load time, we take the memory structure and we morph it. We change it in many, many ways. This is our core IP. And in parallel, we keep a skeleton of the original memory structure. All that is being done at load time. Once we finish, now the application is ready to run, which is a new morph structure. It opens the file or the web page. If everything is clean, no malicious code injected whatsoever, it keeps running as usual. But if there is a malicious code inside that tries to inject itself, then that code will do what it was designed to do, which is approaching the original memory structure, certain functions, certain addresses they were looking for, and when they do that, we stop them. It means that we have a system, a full deterministic system, where any code that touches the original structure is malicious by default. So the outcome of that is that we gain a very high level of prevention without having any knowledge. We excel in 0 days, which is the main problem, actually. It's a fully deterministic system. Do not rely on any signature, any prior knowledge, any need to build behavioral rules and patterns, whatsoever. And it's a very, very resilient system that promises that it will be relevant also for the future, not only for current attacks, again, because of the moving target defense idea, which we keep changing and randomizing the memory. We do that for each process load. Each time a user opens a file or a web page, we randomize the memory in a different way without a key. That enables us to bring a very high coverage of prevention. Again, prevention, not detection. We prevent first of any kinds of attack vector, whether it's from downloads, web, physical, network, and we build our system as a defense-in-depth architecture where we deal with different stages of the attack: infiltration, pre-execution, or execution in case it's an existing malware already in the system. So by that, for example, in 2015, we were able to show our customer how we prevented all those malwares that you see here, whether it was ransomwares, all the ransomwares that you heard about, Trojan, miners, which are very popular, and of course also WannaCry and Petya. Our customers did not even had a ransomware download to their system because we prevented the infiltration stage. So they didn't have to deal with analyzing which was affected, remediation, all this stuff. And also CC Cleaner, it's a very interesting case. It's a supply chain attack that was hit by on Avast systems, and we were the only one, according to Avast, in the world to prevent and detect this system, this attack. This is also showing all the exploit kits that you showed before. Again, we prevent web-based attack. It means that we, unlike most of the endpoint security system, we prevent web browsing attacks. Okay. So our system, not only that it's so powerful in preventing those attacks, it is extremely light and simple to install and maintain. This was a key design parameter for us, which we keep it that all the way when we develop the product. Why it's so simple? The agent that we install, it's only 2 megabyte size of an agent. User mode, will never have blue screens. Once it was installed by SCCM, whatever, or BigFix, no need for reboot. No configuration, we have nothing to configure. No tuning against false positives. No rules to build. It's really plug and play. Our customers install 3,000, 4,000 endpoints a day. Once it was installed, it's very easy to maintain. Why? Again, we have no false positive by definition. We have no rules, we have no decisions to make. We have no need to update nothing when there's new attack, no signatures, no patterns, no behavioral rules. We connect to all the SIEM systems that you might use in order to have better visibility. Our customers are fully protected when they are offline, disconnected from the network. Why? Because we do not need any file reputation, any sandboxing, all those stuff that requires backwards connectivity to the organization, or at least internet connectivity. So again, mobile workforce is fully protected, even if it's disconnected from the network. And another point which is very interesting, we consume 0 CPU by definition when the application runs. Why? Because everything that we do is done at low time. And when the application runs, we do nothing. We just wait for them to hit the original memory structure. So by having 0 CPU consumption, we can, for example, protect in a very efficient way virtualized system, VDI or virtual app. These systems are very vulnerable to memory attack and are very, very difficult to protect, because whenever you put another agent on the system, it multiplies on the stack and dramatically reduces the performances of these VDI virtual systems. So we are working with we are Citrix partners, or the VMware system, or Microsoft systems. This is a very popular use case, especially in financials, insurance companies that heavily use VDI system and find it very, very difficult to protect. So bottom line, we have 0 user impact and 0 operational disruption. An interesting point that I heard here on the stage of the panel about the fact that many businesses here in India are having remote location, and it's very difficult to maintain them because networks are not so sophisticated, and it's really difficult to control. And I just came back from visiting many customers here in the last 2 days, and one of the things that were repeatedly said by our customers why they like our product so much is the fact that it's so light and needs almost no network for reports or maintenance. Why? Because 2 megabytes, it's really easy to push. And once you push, you did not need to do nothing, really nothing. It's set and forget. And when it runs, when we report, it's only on attack that already happened. We do not drive thousands of alerts, like detection systems, that now someone needs to analyze and makes a very heavy load on the network. We have very little reports to make backwards to the system, and enables you to really have a control on your remote sites from a centralized location. This is an example of our management system, very elaborated. We give you the full visibility about which elements are protected everywhere, who are the users, IPs, and stuff. The attack dashboard shows you exactly how many attacks you had, where, which system, and if you want to dig in, you get very elaborate information about the attack because we are there when it happens. We are in the memory when the attack happens. In most cases, most systems, this information is not there anymore when you investigate, so you don't really know how those attacks penetrated. So the overall value proposition that we provide to our customers is a very powerful protection thanks to our new technology, moving target defense. We help them to save operational costs, to lower the TCO, thanks to the fact that it's so light, so simple to install and maintain. And by providing real prevention, we enable real business continuity. Again, our customers with WannaCry and Petya, they didn't have to stop nothing, just continue working. Today, we protect more than 900,000 endpoints worldwide. This is only 2 years after we introduced the product to the market. 900,000 endpoints. And we have 100% renewals for our customers. The way we recommend for our customer to integrate that into the stack is that we say to them, install Morphisec. Use Morphisec as your main engine, protecting engine on the endpoint, to protect against those real difficult and costly attacks, which are mostly in memory, fileless, evasive malware, exploits, web-driven attack, files-driven attack, documents, PDF, Microsoft, MS Office, whatever, and backdoors that you find on the endpoint. And keep your antivirus. This antivirus does a good job against known attacks. And there are many knowns and all attacks. And it's very difficult to replace it. It costs a lot of money to change things and deal with compliance. And from a cost perspective, it has no meaning anymore. It's really the costs are low. By the way, when we see today Windows 10 comes in and Defender, the built-in antivirus of Microsoft, getting much better than it was before, then definitely we see many customers that are using Defender as their antivirus, which costs nothing, and Morphisec. So this will be your best cost-effective stack. And as one of our customers, which is the London Stock Exchange, the CISO there said, Morphisec is a critical layer in our defense in-depth architecture. So since we were introducing that to the market 2 years ago, we were able to gain many customers, very interesting names like the London Stock Exchange, Motorola, Imperva, NTT. And we were coming to India for the last year and already have customers that we are very proud, like SR, Lava, and many more on the pipeline. Some use cases, just to give a touch on that, how our customers look at it. So, for example, a security company, a vendor of security products, wanted to defend itself, look for endpoint post security. It had its semantic there. They knew they have to do more protection on the endpoint, and they have very clear KPIs. They said, okay, we want to keep our antivirus and have another layer, and that box, that black box, needs to protect against certain types of advanced attacks that we think we are aimed. And the second KPI was we have no energy to invest in sophisticated and burden maintenance and no alerts. We have thousands of alerts, 100 critical a week, and we don't even have people to look at them. So if we bring other systems that, whether it's NGAV or detection system, they will drive more alerts. So what do we do with that? So knowing that, we gave them the best protection. They did very sophisticated tests because they are one of the most knowledgeable customers that we met. Testing, having the best results of efficacy. And with such a simplicity way of maintaining and no need to analyze alert, it was clear to them that they need to use Morphisec. And this was, by the way, they tested all the products you can imagine in the market. Another interesting customer, 18,000 endpoints, truck manufacturer in the US, split in different locations in Europe and the US. Very small team of security guys, but they knew they have to be protected. They had, again, antivirus, At the time before we came there, they said, okay, what can we do? Okay, we have no choice. Let's take EDR. But they knew that they're going to have more and more alerts, which there's no chance they're going to look at, because now they have so many, and they use IBM stock services in Europe in order to analyze them. So by having another EDR and another system which is detection-based, they're not going to do nothing about that. So when they saw that we're going to give them prevention, we prevent the attack, and with no effort from their side, it was clear to them that they're going to use Morphisec. So that's us. We really believe that with moving target defense, we are going to change the market, how security works, and we'll be happy to work with you. Thank you very much.